this point. So thank you everybody who's on. Monday we talked about pain points, and we talked about how a lot of times we try to push pain away because it's uncomfortable, it's painful. I mean, it's right there in the name. And we try to push it away, but we talked a little bit, Danya and I suggested that you actually allow yourself to sit in that pain. I think it's extremely powerful. I've been telling people this for years in one of my classes at work. That pain is there for a purpose. And so you want to sit in that pain because it's actually there to cause you to do something. So what I was feeling last night, what I was thinking last night with regards to this is that I don't think people hear that. I don't think people really understand what we're saying when we say sit in that pain. So tonight, what I'm kind of going to take you on is a negative meditation. I mean, that's a weird way to put it, but I want you to feel the pain. So here's what I want you to do. I can't see you. So if you would humor me in this, if you want to go here with me, please close your eyes while we're on this call. Because I want to talk about pain and I want you to sit in it. I want you to feel it. I don't want anything. I don't want you worried about what I look like on the camera or what anybody's commenting or anything else like that. I want you to sit in it as I bring this up. So let's talk about pain points and let's get into that. So sometimes, and I'm going to start with the easy one because I feel like this is a pain point that most of us can relate to on a pretty much everyday basis. Okay, so work, pain points around work. So do you find yourself on Sunday looking forward to going to work on Monday and looking forward to what lies ahead of the week? Or do you find yourself on Sunday night slipping into what I call the Sunday blues, where you start to think, oh man, the weekend's almost over. Now I have to get back to life. Now I have to go back to that place, wherever your job might be. Do you find yourself when your alarm clock goes off every morning? I want you to feel yourself laying there in the bed when the alarm clock goes off. And do you wake up feeling alive and ready to go when you jump out of the bed, or do you lay there and maybe you hit snooze a few times, but you just are like, oh man, again? Do you find yourself counting down the hours at work until you can leave? Until you can go home? The work that you're doing, do you feel alive when you're there? Or do you think, man, this is the same shit, different day? Do you tell people that? Same shit, different day? Think about with your work. Think about how you take work out of work. When you come home from work, do you find yourself like energized when you come home and you're ready to hang out with your family, your kids, your spouse, your significant other, whoever? Do you find yourself energized to do that? Or when you come home, is it like, man, the day is over. Let me maybe cook something, eat some, but then I'm gonna go sit my ass on the couch and watch TV or scroll through my phone. Now, you might not recognize these as pain points, but I want you to think about these. These are pain points. They're not just pain points to you. See, our pain points spill over to other people. So what's that like for your child or your significant other when you come home and maybe they've been waiting to tell you about something all day and you're like, not now, I don't have the energy. I done dealt with some shit today. What does that do to them? What do you think it does to your spirit when every day you wake up and you don't look forward to what you're about to go do? What do you think that does to your soul when every day you feel like, what are you doing here? Why are you going back here every single day? What is it? Why? Like, why? Why do I have to do this? God, isn't there more for me? Sit in that. Feel that. Maybe right now you feel your heart quickening. Maybe you feel your breathing shallow. What do you think this does to your health? See, health is the number one cause of so many of our deadly diseases. High blood pressure. Have you been to the doctor recently? They told you have high blood pressure, or maybe you have diabetes, or maybe you're pre-diabetic. Maybe you've been told you're at risk for a stroke, a heart attack. There's a reason why most heart attacks happen on Monday morning. Stress. Going back to work, yet we go back there every day. I want you to think about what this means. I want you to think about how when you go in there every day and you're like, God, I can't do another day of this. But in your mind, you're like, I probably have 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 more years of this. How am I supposed to do 15, 20 years when I can't even get through one day? Think about what that does to your spirit and your soul over the long run. Think about, feel, sit in it. Feel what that feels like when you come home and your loved ones, all they see is you just exhausted and you have no time and no energy left for them. See, we go and we give our energy at our jobs, and when we come home, we don't have no energy left. Think about that. Sit in that pain. Maybe you remember that same pain as a child, and your parent came home and they didn't have no energy left for you. Think about that. Remember what that felt like as a kid. I want you to feel that. Let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about pain points around our finances. Are you one of those people that when your paycheck comes, you're excited? Or are you one of those people that when your paycheck comes, look, I called it a pain check. That's for a reason. When your paycheck comes, you think, I don't even know what the point is. It's just going to go all to bills anyways. I'm going to be broke again. Feel that. Are you one of those people that you got a week left before payday and you're like, man, I don't have no money left. I hope nothing happens because I have nothing left. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, something's going to happen. Are you one of those people that got super excited? You were looking every single day to see when your stimulus check was put into your account? Are you, do you sit there and you think about, you know, okay, I have to tell my kids no. Let's go there. I have to tell my kids no because my paycheck won't let me. And I'm not telling you it's wrong to tell your kids no. We should tell our kids no on certain things, but if you're constantly having to tell your kids no because your paycheck won't allow it, I want you to feel that. I want you to see your baby, your child's face when you have to say, no, we can't go do that. No, you can't go do that with your friends because I can't afford it. Look at your child's face. And again, chances are you probably experienced this as a child too. Your parents probably had to tell you no because they couldn't afford it too. Because here's the thing, we usually carry on the same financial burden. So you know what it felt like as a child when your parent had to tell you no. You know what it felt like as a child when you had to tell your friends you couldn't go to the birthday party or whatever. because you couldn't afford it? Feel that. Feel that disappointment. What about this? Do you feel good about the legacy or what you're going to leave behind for your family when you pass? And I'm sorry to go here, but this is real. Woke Wednesday, wake up. Do you feel good about what you're going to leave your family when you leave? I want you to think about what it might be like if your spouse or your significant other or your children or, God forbid, your parent has to deal with your death. And on top of that, they're getting calls about your debt. I want you to think about that. Think about how similar those words sound in the first place, death and debt. And some of you might have experienced this on the receiving end. Maybe you had to deal with the debt of a loved one while you were trying to grieve their death. See, I watched my mom go through this when my sister passed. It's bad enough watching somebody deal with that kind of death. But to then take calls from debtors wondering when they're going to get paid. I want you to think about that. Is that what you're leaving your family? Is that what you're leaving behind for them? Feel that in your bones. Feel that. Let it soak in. Don't run from it. Feel it. Let's transition. Let's talk about relationships. No, there's not pain in relationships. Yeah, there's pain in relationships. It's interesting. So during this time when we've been on this stay at home, I want you to think about it. Have you been enjoying this time with your family? Have you been, taking this time to have meaningful conversations with your kids or your loved ones that maybe you've been putting off because you were too tired when you got home from work and now you have the time? Or are you finding any excuse to escape, to get out of the house? And I'm not talking about because you just want to get out of the house because but you're trying to get away from your loved ones. They're driving you crazy. Sometimes that doesn't even mean you leave the house. Sometimes that might mean you go lock yourself in your room, your man cave, your woman cave, whatever the case may be. What's the pain point in your relationship? Do you say kind things to the people that you love the most? Or do you come home and take out your day on them? Now, I don't mean necessarily that you are cussing them out or saying really hurtful stuff, but just the way and the tone you're talking to them and you ain't got time for them. I want you to think about that. What's the pain in that? When you drive home from work, do you catch yourself driving slower because you don't even want to go home? Do you look over at that person that you've been married to for 5, 10, or 15 years and go, what are we doing? You don't feel no love for them anymore? What's the pain in that? I'm going to be real vulnerable with you guys right now because I think that's going to help. So a couple years ago, I took my daughter to her annual checkup at the doctor. She was an early teenager at that point. And I'm sitting there right in the room with her, and the doctor's asking her questions, as a teenager about stuff. And she says, do you have any emotional things? Do you ever feel depressed? And my daughter said, yes. And the doctor said, do you talk to your mother about it? And my daughter said, no, she's got her own stuff going on. She can't deal with my stuff. Put yourself in that pain. Understand what that feels like. And you might never have to hear your child say that. But what if your child is thinking that? Because you're dealing with your own struggles, they can't come to you with theirs. Feel that. What is this doing to your soul? What is this doing to your spirit over the long run? We're not promised tomorrow, but this wears and tears on us. Let that pain sit into your bones. Really let it sit there. Let's talk about pain around our self-care, ourselves. When you talk to yourself, do you say kind things? Do you say, you got this, you can do anything you want? Or do you say, you ain't shit, you ain't ever been shit, and you ain't ever gonna be shit? Stop dreaming. Think about that. Think about how you talk to yourself. Let that pain soak in. Because if you think for 1 second that the way you talk to yourself doesn't affect everything else around you, you're wrong. Do you take time to take care of yourself? Maybe that's, taking a bath. Maybe that's reading or listening to an audiobook. Maybe that's doing some exercise, some yoga, whatever the case may be. Eating healthy. Or do you find yourself all too often saying, I'm too busy, I don't have time. I got a job to go to, I got kids to feed, I got this going on, that going on, whatever. Are you taking care of yourself? Where's the pain when you're not taking care of yourself? Like I said earlier, it goes outside of you. That pain stretches way further than you. So you might be feeling that pain just like I was, because I wasn't taking care of myself. I thought I was holding it together. And to hear my daughter say, no, I don't talk to her about this because she got her own stuff going on. Wake up. Wake up. I had to make a decision at that point. Right now, pay attention to what's going on in your body. Because with all this pain that we just tapped into, and that's scratching the surface, you might feel your heart is beating a little faster. You might feel the weight of an elephant on your chest. You might feel your breathing is shallow. Your eyes might be welling up. You might feel like you're getting angry. And I mentioned the other day on the call, see, here's the thing is, women, we're told we're not supposed to be angry. And men, you're generally told you're not supposed to be sad. And I told you, you have to sit in the very emotion that your body is telling you you are in. Because that is when God or the universe or whatever you want to call it is trying to send you a message. And if you are too busy trying to move past it, push it along, drown it out with drugs and alcohol, whatever the case may be, you are going to miss the message because there's too much going on around you. So here's the thing with our pain. We have choices of what we can do with our pain. We can brush it off. And I know I'm like this sometimes, and I know Danya is like this sometimes. People think that sometimes we're all about rainbows and sunshine and shit. It's all good. They're always happy. They're always looking at the bright side. And for the most part, we do try to find the silver lining. Both of us do. But you know what? we both also tap into that pain. We recognize that that pain is there for a reason, and we know what we're supposed to do with that. As I mentioned, you can drown it out, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Or you can use that pain to take action. This is a decision for you to make. I can't tell you what to do. Danya can't tell you what to do. This is a decision you have to make. Here's the thing, a lot of people, when they feel that pain, and you might have been here, you might still be here right this second. When you feel that pain, you get motivated. You go, I don't want to leave my family to have to deal with my debt when they're dealing with my death. You might think, I don't want to have to leave my kids or tell my kids, no, I can't take them to go do something over and over again for the next 10 years until they're grown or however long. I don't want to go back to that job for the next 10, or any job for that matter, for the next 10 or 15 years. Look, I work at the workforce center. I see people 80 years old coming in looking for jobs. You want to see somebody whose soul, whose spirit has been robbed? I want you to soak in that feeling, because here's the thing. Most of the time when people get this motivation, they might say, yeah, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and I'm going to make the changes. And you know what happens usually? They might start out, they might have a good day, a good week, a good month, whatever. But usually what happens is at some point they get comfortable again and they start to accept shit again. In other words, like, okay, well, at least my job pays the bills. That's good enough. I shouldn't ask for more. Good point. Danya said, pain is a pivot point. Pain is a pivot point. This is your chance for you to choose your direction. See, so many times people get comfortable and or I got too busy. I didn't have time. And I'm not saying there's not days that you can't say, you know what, today was an exhausting day. I'm just going to rest. But if you find that becoming a pattern, next thing you know, it's a week since you've worked on your goals. And the next thing you know, it's a month since you've worked on anything that's going to help get you out of your situation and help you get out of that pain. Then you just fell right back into it. So what I want you to do is every time you start to make an excuse, I'm just going to sit here and watch TV. Check in with that. I want you to feel that pain. And again, I'm not saying you can't have a day where you sit down and watch TV, but if you find yourself night after night after night after night after night, and that's all you're doing is sitting down and watching your TV or being on your phone, you ain't doing nothing, baby. You ain't gonna do nothing to change your situation. If you want to change your situation, you constantly have to tap into that pain. You constantly have to remind yourself, I don't want to leave my family with that. I don't want to go to a job for 20 more years. I don't want to leave my child feeling like I am not here for them. See, guys, this pain is so powerful, and I truly believe is given to us as a lesson. It's not a bad thing. We look at pain and we go, ooh, pain. That's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. We need to be uncomfortable. Stop trying to be comfortable. Life doesn't happen in a comfort zone. It happens when you step out of your comfort zone. We've talked about so much on Danya's and I's calls, and there's so many opportunities. I'm not going to give you guys the answers. I want you to ask these questions. Am I willing to leave that pain? Am I willing to sit in that pain, really? Am I willing to make the changes? Am I willing to keep going to my job every day for the next 10 years? Am I willing to leave my debt behind for my family when they're dealing with my death? Think about that. Now, I'm going to close this out with one kind of last bit. And I'm gonna get real emotional, so I hope all of your eyes are still closed, but you can see it later on the video, I suppose. So here's the thing. A lot of us right now are dealing with a lot of pain about things that are going on in our country. And see, some people don't let themselves sit in that pain. I want you to think about it. I don't know if you watch those videos. Either one of them from the last few weeks. Whether you heard the stories or you watched the videos, I want you to think about what it's like to lay face down on the concrete. You calling out, I can't breathe. You calling out for your mother who's passed. And all you feeling is the knee on the back of your neck gets stronger and stronger and pushed down harder and harder. I want you to think about the fear that happens in that moment. I want you to think about the mother getting the phone call. Yeah, your son was out running. He's dead now. I want you to tap into that pain that every single parent of a child of color had. And it's not just on these occasions. It's not just for these situations. It's every day, but especially on those days when they look at their babies' faces. They look at their children's faces and they have to have that fear because they don't know what's ever going to happen to their kids. I want you to feel that. And there are some people who don't understand this. They don't feel it. They're thinking, this doesn't affect me. I didn't raise my kids to be racist, so this doesn't affect me. Or I don't know people of, I don't know, maybe people, I don't know how this happens, but maybe you don't know anybody of color. So you think it doesn't affect you. It will. It does. For some of those folks, have you lost friendships because your friends are going, how do you not feel my pain? How do you not sit here and understand that when a football player kneels on a football field, that's not about taking anything away from our military? But you think you can't understand how I feel with a knee to the back of the neck until a person dies. There is a lot of pain going on, and here's the thing. I know a lot of people with this particular subject have pain, and we don't know what to do with it, myself included. I've spoken on this so many times. I've written on it so many times, and I'm at the point where I think I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to speak on it anymore because it's not changing anything. But here's the thing. I would like to think, I would really like to think that in Minneapolis, if I was there, that I would have stepped in front of that officer and got right in his face. I pray to God I would be brave enough to do this and got right in his face and said, no, sir, not today. And see, I could do that. The people who were watching, who were recording, they've got, a lot of people have been like, well, don't just sit there and record. You know what? They black too. They'll just get shot. But you know what? I might be able to step in because I know that they value my life, and it hurts me to say this, but they value my life differently. So I would like to think that I would be that person. So my call is for people who have that privilege to put yourself out there and be that person. Don't silence yourself. I know I said I can't, I'm so tired of speaking on this, I can't speak on it anymore. But at the same point, I'm never going to silence myself to the point where I'm in agreement. It's just not going to happen. So here's the thing. Thank you all for joining on today. It's a rough subject. But what I really wanted to get you into is I want you to feel that pain. Like I said, we got to wake up. This is called Wake Up Wednesday. Woke Wednesday, right? We got to be woke, people. We can't continue to go through life just accepting mediocrity. And you know what? If we're going to take steps to get out of that, we have got to allow ourselves to feel the pain. We have got to allow ourselves to really understand what that pain looks like and how it affects not only us, but the people around us and the people that we love, because oftentimes we'll take action for them before we'll take action for ourselves. So thank you for jumping on. I promise every time I do Woke Wednesday, it won't be so dark. But thank you for jumping on. If before you jump off, if you feel like doing any comments, if you opened your eyes from this and feel woke and want to comment, feel free to do so. Thank you for jumping on. Danya, if you have anything that you want to type in that I can make sure I'm getting out there. Looking at the comments. Looking at the comments. So thank you all for jumping on. I'm not going to close it out yet because I just want to make sure if anybody has anything they want to speak on. Even after Danya and I's video, on Monday, I think there were people that were very moved by that. And so I just want to make sure that when we're touching people, so to speak, we don't just leave you out there. Danya and I are here. I'm not going to give you the answer, but come to us with your questions. We're going to help you walk through it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you guys so much for logging in, for tapping in. You know, here's the thing. Again, you have a choice to take action. Don't just take, I mean, it might be a small step-by-step action at the beginning, but look at it as big action in your head, okay? It takes big action to make big changes, so that's where I want you to be, make big changes. All right, thank you guys.